Everyone, please pay attention. Before we begin the soapbox, I want to give you one instruction. Everyone here, please maintain decorum. We have security, we have police posted everywhere. So if you guys become aggressive, loud, if we feel like you're being a threat, we will not hesitate to throw you out. So please maintain decorum. Please maintain silence when the candidates are speaking. That is the objective of the soapbox. We'll begin right now.
So good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all for this Institute Sports Secretary Soapbox, and we have two amazing candidates, Abiram and Josi and Abiram, for the wonderful day. And before we begin, a few instructions. As Meenakshi said, everyone please maintain the decorum. A specific time period will be given for Executive Council questioning, Spar questioning. Then we'll move on to GSP and SECC questioning, if time permits. Each candidate will roughly have 6 to 7 minutes of time to present their visions and manifestos. And after that, we can move on to the Executive Council questioning, then spirits. And one small instruction, please maintain decorum. And I also like to inform the candidates not to use their mobile while answering the questionings. And while if you can see the question and you can ask the question, but don't use the mobile to answer the question. And I also invite all the Executive Council members for the soapbox. And we'll begin the soapbox. Since Josi came first for the soapbox, he will be beginning the presentation. Karthik. PPT.
Just make it full screen. Hello dear voters. With the motivation and the vision to empower, develop and achieve victory, this is Josi. I'm standing in front of you running for the post of Institute Sports Secretary this elections. My manifesto is divided into 4 subsections. We'll one by one go through each of the sections. First one, Together We Rise, focuses on inclusion. I am establishing a dedicated cricket pitch for the Tower Hostel for PG students. Strong Her is an initiative for all the girls to revamp the gyms of Sabar and Badra so that all the girls, they can focus on their fitness journey with privacy and with professional guidance. Women's Clubs is an initiative by me to establish dedicated racket sports clubs for women and put monthly ranking tournaments to muster support and to muster good engagement from the GSB and the women participants. Sports 24/7 is an initiative by me which opens the SAC badminton courts throughout the day round the clock. Along with it, the volleyball courts and the Sitara indoor court will be staying open till 12 a.m. for all the Jantai of IITM. Leisure Weekender I'm organizing a bi-monthly PG leisure weekenders and sports tournaments, especially for the PG, to get some freshen up from their academics and hectic lifestyle. The second basket focuses on inter-IT, GC Homecoming. I'm launching a semester-long sports mess, offering nutritious and protein-rich meals throughout the semester this tenure. Mind Over Muscle is an initiative through which we will be conducting mental toughness workshops focusing on different aspects of mental training for all the players and the contingent members. Sports X Tech is a collaborative initiative for the contingent players where we are giving them insights based on their fitness journeys and assessment using sensors and data analytics. Insti Reconnect is an annual weekend sports union which is inspired from the Encore, the annual cricket flagship union, extending for all other sports and also for the hostels this year. We are going to introduce new sports this year, Kho-Kho and Kabaddi to the institute level. We are also going to propose sports like women's sports and women's football into the board meeting for intra-ID sports meet. The third basket is beyond the books, is focused on the general student body. Athlete Shield is an initiative, insurance policy for GSB members covering injuries with optional short specific plans. Insti Kickoff, this is an initiative for the fresher for the immersion program. Intra-ID interactions will be conducted for the freshers so that they get a kickstart and they get know the contingent even better. Edu Sports is an initiative through which I am bringing in online existing courses to the offline classes. It will be covering aspects like nutrition, sports, and fitness so that the Janta can take up those electives and then learn with having fun. I'm reviving the sports club system which we had before 2 years and will be again reviving the non-intra-ID clubs so that those clubs will be led by conveners and throughout the years their initiatives will be focused on by the SOC team. Khel Samiti is an initiative through which I am bringing back audits, recognizing the best hostel sports secretary, giving them points throughout the year, monitoring their progress in their initiatives so that they are motivated for their work throughout the tenure. The last basket, building tomorrow's foundation. Rooftop Arena is an initiative through which I'm transforming the top floor of Sitara complex into a multi-sport turf, which gives a solution to bad weather conditions and add on sports like football, hockey, and cricket practice. Victory Volt is an initiative through which I'm dedicating a space in Sitara complex to honor the intra-ID players and the sports league zone with success stories of the contingent for their motivation and their uplifting of their mood. Sports Shop. I'm planning to bring one-stop destination in our campus, one sports shop where all the people can buy equipments, jerseys, and nutritional supplements, and they don't have to go outside the campus to find the whatever things they're requiring. Revamp Committee is an initiative through which I'm establishing one team which will comprise of sports X and FR cores, which will throughout the year work for the development of the hostel infrastructure. Through these, the initiatives, the hostel sports secretaries will be getting a facilitation in terms of the completing of their initiatives. Lastly, Play and Learn is an initiative through which I'll be setting up in the common places of all the academic complexes, I'll be transforming to them into recreational spots so that people in between the classes, the students can come, relax, socialize, and unwind in the stress. This was a manifesto. I've been in touch with the hostel council and I've been working closely with the admin throughout these 3 years of my campus life. I've completed almost of my manifesto in my Mandakini, Kaveri and Narmada Sports Secretary Council. And I really feel motivated to go along and work for the institute. These are some of my credentials. I'm currently the SOC head, institute cricket team player. I've been hostel sports secretary for Narmada, hostel sports secretary for Kaveri, and I'm the current hostel sports secretary of Narmada as well. I was SOC events coordinator. Also, I played state level cricket from Gujarat team. Thank you so much for being an audience.
Now we'll move on with Abiram.
Good evening, everyone. I am Abiram Pramod, a third-year undergrad in the Department of Chemical Engineering, and I am contesting for the post of Institute Sports Secretary. My vision for the Spar runs around three core principles: train, transform, and triumph. And I want to make it more inclusive and accessible to the entirety of GSB through consistent training, teamwork, and resilience. My manifesto initiatives are aimed at executing this very vision I have in a systematic manner. Campus Renaissance is a transforming attempt at revamping institute infrastructure facilities. My first initiative under this bucket is termed as Sports Central. This is meant to be an official website for all team news and covering the entirety of IITM sports action. Next, there's Athletes Arena, a versatile indoor facility with a multi-purpose turf to ensure that we have all-weather training programs going on. Next, we have Gear Up, which is our very own sports shop within Insti to ensure that everyone gets affordable gears. Next up, there's Powerlift, a gym with advanced equipments and data analytics. All these initiatives, as I mentioned, are for initiating a structural change in our institute's current facilities. Get, Set, Ball. It's my attempt at increasing inclusivity in sports and making it more appealing to the entirety of the student body here at IIT Madras. Power Her and She Can are initiatives empowering women through NSO weightlifting and dedicated sporting clubs run by women and for women. Sports Expo, a two-day sports weekender featuring guest athletes, merchandise stalls, and immersive sports exposure. Extreme Thrills. This will feature obstacle courses and adventure sports circuit that will happen twice every semester. Next up, we have Beginners Basket, which is LTAP courses in sports such as calisthenics and handball, which is meant to ensure that every beginner gets a fair chance to try a new sport. Meta Arena, a platform for inter-hostel esports tournaments. Finally, PG Hustle, extended sports facility timings to ensure that our PG students also get a chance to participate in the legacy that IITM's sporting sphere holds. Champions Blueprint. It's aimed at encouraging contingent training and participation. Legacy Hall, establishing a commemorative initiative to honor top contingent players. Generations Connect, connecting with our sports alumni through online sporting facilities and through Sports Digest. Prime Fit, structured physiotherapy and rehab program to prevent injuries and aid recovery. Talent Scout, conducting batch-specific tournaments to scout for promising athletes and ensuring they get a huge chance to participate in our probable tournaments and also represent us at the Inter-ID Sports Meet. Game On, increasing participation of our contingents in external tournaments to sharpen their skills and boost match preparedness. Gold Standard, it's a reward system aimed at motivating athletes' performance throughout the semester. My last set of initiatives is aimed at hosting the 58th Inter-ID Sports Meet here at IIT Madras. Catalyst 2.0. It's primarily aimed at reorganizing SOC into a more efficient and structured body that will run and ensure the smooth execution of the Inter-IT Sports Meet here at IITM. Inter-IT Immersion is aimed at providing volunteering opportunities for students and probables to earn NSS credits. And finally, I will actively seek to encourage cross-sphere partnerships, especially with the cultural sphere, to enhance inter-IT experience for all the participants and the attendees. My credentials, my journey begins from being the under-15 Telangana State Chess Champion in 2018, and it's been a long way. Currently, I'm the head of the Sports Organizing Committee. a genuine captain of the inter-IT chess team, and also the representative of the Indo sports contingent at this year's sports meet. During my SOC tenure, I've had a lot of memories and a lot of experience by running one of the biggest freshie onboarding event called Spotify, navigating a decathlon-sponsored 5K run through the rains, hosting NSO orientation, immersion programs, and interacting with multiple spheres and people during the Mitra Wellness Run. I have experienced and have the skill set and wish to take this spear to greater heights. Finally, before concluding, 3 years ago, when Insti won the men's GC, I was there. 2 years ago, when we won the general championship and our chess team bagged the bronze medal, I was there. And last year, when we were overall runner-ups and won the women's GC, I was there. I am Abiram Pramod, contesting for the post of Institute Sports Secretary. And the journey isn't ending here. I've always been there, and I will be there when we lift the General Championship again at the 58th Inter-IT Sports Meet here at IIT Madras. Thank you, guys.
I request the audience to sit. Okay, now we move on with the cross questioning. We'll begin with Joshi. Before that, a small instruction. Each person will get 3 questions and 2 follow-ups to ask. And for a question, you can get 2 minutes to answer, and for a follow-up is 45 seconds. Right? Yeah. Yeah, 2 follow-ups for the entirety of 3 questions, and we can begin. Don't use your mobile for answering. Don't use your mobile for answering.
Yeah, hello Abiram. My first question to you is, for the point mentioned, the Sports Central website, can you just give me an implementation plan of the same, and what is your exact goal with that particular website?
Okay, coming to the question, right now we don't really have a website. We've been partnering with Skillscape to ensure that we run a website for the Gymkhana as of now. And my plan with the implementation of the website is to ensure the online accessibility of all the events, all the scoreboard updates, schedule of our events, let's say Showiter, Sports Fest, Inter-IT Sports Meet, and also using it as a platform to ensure that live streaming also occurs through that.
I hope you believe in magic. The last year's SOC tenure, we are already having the Gymkhana website made. We are just 1 meet away getting the credentials from the computer center and releasing this official website.
Is it a follow-up or a clarification?
So what exactly are you trying to do? Are you wasting the money taking from SLC, or what's the use of this website which we made this tenure?
So yeah, coming to the question, we have a website going on, but we haven't fixed the domain name yet, and it isn't up and running. My aim is not to build a separate website, but utilize the current one more efficiently to ensure everything is visible and accessible to the entirety of the general student body. I hope you understand that we don't waste money by making something more accessible to people, and at the same time, I want to add additional features to ensure that a lot more things can be done. Let's say online registrations for deans and Shroiter, which happens in a very haphazard manner as of now. As a SOC head, you would be knowing the amount of pain our event scores have to go through to ensure all the schedules, deadline for registrations, and making sure they get a right update goes on time.
You can ask question. Now it's time for Abiram.
So, Dev, you mentioned something about the sports mess, and I have also stated that it will be semester long. If you look at the financial model that you have mentioned, You say you'll be running it with 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs from Gymkhana and 10 lakhs through iCollege. If I have to mention to the general student body over here, we spend roughly 140 rupees per day for mess, and our inter-IT messes budget is roughly 550 rupees.
Can you be straight to the question?
Yeah, sure. So since if you do the max properly, and you mentioned 600 people, it is nowhere possible to make this happen with the 40 lakhs of amount you have mentioned if 300 people in the contingent and 300 people from the GSB come in. How do you think this financial model is viable? And what are your plans to make sure that the vendors don't run into losses and we don't end up initiating what you promise?
First of all, the amount which you mentioned for one day is not 550. We are not running the same meals which we have in the main camp. The amount will be actually sum up to 230 rupees, which is 80 rupees excess to the normal mess money which is required for one day. Coming to the 40 lakhs thing, I've discussed the feasibility of this point with the MMCC core, with the DOST Dean of Students, and the Gymkhana as well. We have to spend 40 lakhs for the entire semester in the odd semester when we are having the intra-IT, all the money focused in the just before intra-IT. So we are planning to spread that money evenly throughout the semester from the sports fest and from the sports fest and the main camp funds. Will be evenly distributing that particular fund, and that 30 lakh rupees will be coming from the entire money which we are spending just before the intra-IT. So that we are able to contribute from the Gymkhana. Remaining 10 lakh will be taken from the iCollege, from the students, the excess 80 rupees which I was talking about.
A small clarification. Yeah.
Dev, in your feasibility report, you have mentioned that Gymkhana will give 30 lakhs and another 10 lakhs from iCollege. What exactly is this 10 lakhs?
Whosoever is interested to avail the mess, they'll opt for the mess through iCollege, 300 and 300. It's open for the general student body as well. The overall amount will be divided by the total number of applicants for that particular semester, and that top marginal amount will be taken from the fees.
Follow up.
You just mentioned that you'll be charging additional 80 rupees for the mess from the student fees itself if they want to avail this. Doesn't it create a divide among people who actually are very good at sports and want to get something nutritious but aren't able to afford it financially? Aren't we creating a discrepancy and discriminatory culture here at IIT Madras?
As per my knowledge, whatever extras are being provided right now to the mess students who are taking the normal mess, it's way too expensive for their pockets. It's too more than 80 rupees, so it's difficult for them to take some extra and hit their protein goals throughout the week. So that's the reason 80 rupees is quite pocket friendly for the students, and I have already talked to hundreds of students and taken their feedbacks before forming this point.
We can move with second question. I request the students to maintain the decorum.
So my second question to you, Abiram, is seeing your affinity towards the cultural sphere and being really obsessed with the Pro Shows team and not prioritizing the sock head commitments. You are really going to convert the sack badminton court into a turf with one of your initiatives. So you are, I think, seeing your feasibility report, you are trying to solve a problem for the weather conditions. What are your solutions if we are having a flood next year and the entire sack goes below the waters again? What will you do? Are you trying to waste the money, or do you have any plans for backup?
Let's get straight to the question. About flooding thing, I've already spoken to Dean Planning, and he has clearly mentioned that when SAC would be undergoing renovation, it will be raised to a higher height to ensure that flooding doesn't affect it, with proper flooding systems put in place so that if at all, there's a slight chance of water coming in, it will be pumped out immediately and there will be no harm to the facility that is being built here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my second question for you is you proposed offline NPTEL courses. Is it an oxymoron? Do you think professors are actually willing to take this? And what do you think students would opt for such an offline version of the course when they can already avail it online?
So basically, in my manifesto point, the reference of NPTEL is given just for reference. We are not actually converting the same online courses to the classes. The professor will be same, the curriculum will be same, the same aspects which are going on right now in the NPTEL courses, those will be taught under electives which will be credited for the students and they can take to the offline classes. It's not NPTEL course, it's an offline course which will come under one of the electives, and then with that students can take it and avail their credits as well.
Follow up.
Yeah, sure. In your feasibility, you haven't mentioned about which professor would be taking this course, or have you spoken to professors about whether they are willing to take it? Only then you could actually put it on your manifesto to introduce it as a course, as an elective as well. So could you mention the name of the professor who is willing to take this course?
Regarding this idea, I had talked to the Dean of Students and the Academic Affairs Secretary. Actually, they were having a few suspects of coaches. They were having a few instructors in their mind. I'm sure that one nutritional course will be available to students the next year in my tenure, which they can take as elective. So my third and the last question to you is, again, I understand that you like sitting and playing and avoid physical sports or physically demanding things in your thing. So what's your opinion on bringing a cultural initiative, esports, to the sports sphere and then deviating the students from a physical activity and promoting a sense that they should sit and play game and not being physically engaged into sports, which is actually not a sports sphere point. You are bringing it from your culturals, though we are having 2 cultural secretaries for the entire sphere. So what's your idea and what's the reason of bringing this esports thing into sports sphere, deviating the students' motivation?
As a SOC head, I wish you were more aware of the events we conducted during Sports Fest. Let's say to start off, Speak Olympics, Sports Quiz, aren't all these collaborations with the cultural sphere? And to answer your question about esports, let's come straight to the point. It's about more PR for sports organizing committee and tapping into a market of students who are not actually involved in sports. We want to raise awareness of what sports organizing committee does, and such events serve us as a PR platform to ensure everyone knows what the sphere has to offer and get to know that the team actually works and does something. And there's nothing wrong in collaborating with another sphere. If you feel so, I don't really know who can make a sports sec.
Do you have a follow? It's your second follow. This Soapbox won't move on if you guys shouting.
Follow-up to this question is, you have mentioned one more point of making a new gym in the Sitara complex, the first floor, and you haven't mentioned the feasibility from CESA. They are already having plans regarding making a sports science club, and also it's under Gymkhana. I've talked to them regarding this, and they are having plans to convert that first floor into a sports science club, which they are doing since 2 years. They are going to implement this year. Why haven't you taken the feasibility from the CESA head or the professor who is the sports science club head?
So yeah, to answer this question, I've spoken to Raju sir, sports advisor, dean of students who signed the contract when that Sports Excellence Center was being formed or when it came into action. And all of them are willing to ensure that the gym is established there along with the equipments that they would be bringing in to conduct the data analytics surveys or whatever, so that we can have a tracking system for our contingent members and also ensure that they get high quality training programs once their new routine is fixed or we figure out the issues in the current routine. So we get an additional gym. At the same time, data analytics can be brought into picture over there.
Your last question. Your third question.
So about play and learn, I see you want to establish like sporting areas within each department, but in your feasibility report, there is nothing mentioned about which HOD you have spoken to, which department legislators you have spoken to, and where do you want to find the place to establish such requirements, and logistically, how do you think it is possible to maintain it once it is established, even if you achieve to do so?
This idea is quite very much feasible. I've discussed the entire idea with the Dean of Students as well as the sports advisor. They both are willing to initiate this particular idea. We are also going to do the dry run for the very first facility, which is CLT, the common area in the CLT and ESP. Under the CCTV surveillance and under the guard supervision, this particular initiative will be taken into consideration, and it is very much feasible, bringing sports like foosball table, pool table, dart games and carom. As per my belief, these games won't take that much place and will be able to facilitate the students to come and make a use of those recreational spots in between those classes.
Cross questioning is done. Now we will move on to the executive council questioning, and we'll take till 10 o'clock. Then we'll move on to spirits 15 minutes.
Hi Dev, hi Abiram. First of all the best to both of you. So my first question is to both of you, a general question. So just tell me about the IIT Madras contingent ranking in the last Inter-IIT 2024. Men's, women's, and points for men's, women's, and overall. You can tell about men's, Dev can tell about women's.
Okay. In men's, we ranked 4th and we had 32 points. Whereas overall, we finished 2nd and we had 85.39 points.
Sorry, men's, we had 36 points.
36 points for men, 38 points for women, 2 chess, 9.385 for march past, 85.385 for the overall contingent. We finished 2nd. We were the runner-up of the overall men's general championship.
Okay. Now, next question to both of you. So just describe me like the key responsibility of an institute sports secretary. Just make it brief.
I would describe the role of a sports secretary into 3 basic segments. The first one, maintenance of the institute facilities. Second, to lead the inter-IIT contingent. And third, to bring new policies and propose in front of the election EC to bring in new ideas and their new initiatives into the sports sphere.
Okay.
One thing is to ensure all the activities for students and GSB with respect to sports is organized properly. Second thing is ensuring inter-college and intra-college events for our contingents. Third one is ensuring that our sporting facilities are up to mark, revamped and kept in proper conditions. Along with that, we also have to coordinate with the sports advisors, Gymkhana, to ensure everything runs smoothly.
Sure. Now you can tell me about your tenure as a SOC head. What all events you have organized? Both of you.
We started the SOC tenure with PG League, where the team was ideating for the PG League and it was executed by the PG rep and the executives which were working with him. Then we had immersion program for the freshers. We had the NSO orientation. During the start of the tenure, we had Spotify. The entire SOC team worked for the Spotify and we were able to successfully get 500 plus applications, and those people who were connected to the immersion program under Udghosh. Then we were ideating for Sports Fest. We brought in new sponsors this year. We brought in a few new events. We even did better outreach to bring in a few more colleges this year. We had a better engagement from the GSB with the Sports Fest. Then we had the camp. Then we were ideating the IDL, Interdepartmental League, right after the Intra-IT. And the Interdepartmental League, which was a revival of the IDL after 2 years. We executed 5 sports with 1,000 plus players, which was the most successful event organized in this particular tenure.
Okay, so these are all the events organized by SOC, but you said NSO orientation, you were there, but what I saw is you are not aware for the NSO orientation also, plus contingent boarding session, you are not available for the event. So these are all the events organized by SOC.
That's a clarification, not a question, right?
Yeah, clarification.
So if I have to start off my SOC tenure, it started off with recruiting the course, then the coordinators, following which we had to coordinate with the PG representative to ensure that the summer PG league happened. Post that, details for the summer camp for the contingent and probables was being organized. After that, we moved on for Sports Fest. And before that, we also had NSO orientation and immersion program, where Sportify was also executed by the team. Post that, Sports Fest planning happened. And I'm sorry to say, Dev, that although we contacted sponsors, it didn't happen this year. I wish you were more aware of it. Following, I also worked on making sure the contingent's jerseys, tracksuits, and other requirements happened properly. Along with that, coordinated for the mess, whatever menu was to be fixed. And post that, Interdepartment League, once Inter-IT sports meet got over, and post the Interdepartment League happened, right now we are ongoing with the Schroeder and Dean's matches. I hope this answers the question of the SOC tenure.
Fair enough. So now my question is for Dev. So Abiram has 3 years of experience of Inter-IT, and while you have only 1 year of experience, so can you just tell me yes or no? So do you see this is a disadvantage for you?
I believe that my hostel sports secretary tenure has given me enough number of...
Just tell me yes or no. Just yes or no.
It's not a disadvantage for me.
Huh? Just yes or no.
Can you repeat the question? Yes.
So do you feel this is a disadvantage for you?
No.
No. Okay. So next, list me 4 challenges you might face due to this less experience in the contingent. You can think for it. Next, I will ask for Abiram. Similarly, like Dave has 3 years experience in hostel sports secretary and you doesn't have any experience in hostel sports pair. So do you feel this is a disadvantage for you? Yes or no?
Not at all.
Okay, so list me down the 4 challenges you might face due to the lack of experience.
First of all, I would like to start off by answering that I've had enough experience of handling a team. When I took up the role of the SOC head this year, I know what it takes to handle, organize, and manage a team of 60 to 80 plus members. Secondly, I've been in the contingent for 3 years, and since we are hosting Inter-IT Sports Meet this year, I don't think there's anyone better than me to know how a sports meet happens from start to end, from all the finer details of what it takes to make it happen the way it happens. And finally, as the captain of the chess team and the vice captain last year, I know what it takes to handle Gymkhana, to talk to them, ensure that they are on your side, because without their support, nothing really works in the sports sphere. And along with that, I know what it takes to motivate a team, budget for the team's requirements, and ensure everything happens smoothly. As a vice captain, I'd also conducted Shroeter for chess and also executed the 5 lakh cash prize tournament of Shastra, which happened right here in SAC with 500 plus members. So I feel, although I miss out on the aspect of being a sports secretary, I have enough experience and skill set to ensure that these problems don't become a real trouble when, if at all, I become the Institute Sports Secretary, which I think I would become, and I have confidence in all those supporters who have come here to ensure that they are with me.
Decorum, please.
Dave, you can go ahead now.
I believe that my experience in the hostel sports sphere has given me really good experiences working with the GSB very closely. I better understand what they want, what are their interests from the sports sphere, and what do they really expect in their institute life and from the campus. Throughout these years, before getting into the cricket team, I was into the probables through the last 2 years. I've been closely taking feedbacks and suggestions from the seniors, asking them what are the problems they are facing and their experiences, what are they having in their personal inter-ID sports meet experiences. Through those learnings, I think I won't be having problem or face difficulties while hosting the inter-ID. Also, as an inter-ID contingent 1 year experience, I have talked to a lot of seniors. While curating my initiatives, I have talked to a number of sports secretaries who have actually hosted the inter-IDs. I know their problems better, whatever loopholes were there into their hosting. I've learned from them, and then I've curated the points. Whatever needs to be done was solved, and I'm trying to create a holistic structure through which we'll be able to host the inter-ID very well.
Okay, thank you. So, as you both are aware of that we will be hosting Inter-IT this year at IIT Madras. So just tell me a detailed plan of action for hosting Inter-IT Sports Meet. Both of you.
So yeah, on March 6th of March, we'll be having an online board meeting as of now. Following which, August 7th to 9th, we'll be having an offline board meeting where PTIs, sports officers, and other ISS from the 23 IITs would be coming down to IIT Madras to discuss and draw out the pools. And during December, before that, around September, we'll also be having the Inter-IT Aquatics meet right here at IIT Madras. And for that, we also need to have a team in structure, make sure all the problems associated with accommodation, mess is sorted, because at that point, we'll be having the entirety of GSB in campus as well. Post which, when Inter-IT sports meet starts, the first thing that we have to do is ensure that we constantly check with CCW to have all the accommodation in place, the Inter-IT sports mess in place, and all their hospitality kits, everything is done and sorted for. Post which, we'll also have to organize a technical meet for each sport, and after that, there'll be another meet where the entirety of ISS come together to ensure that all the problems discussed during these technical meets are answered for. Then we'll be having 7 days of Inter-IT sports meet, and before the knockouts start, we'll have to ensure that gala dinner happens efficiently, and the opening ceremony has to be really vibrant and attractive for the crowd that is coming in. And finally, the closing ceremony and the prize distribution has to be handled by the entire SOC team in association with Gymkhana and other stakeholders.
So as we are hosting the Intra-IT this year, we'll be having 2 board meetings. Along these board meetings, the discussions and the proposals for new sports and the new rule book, editing of the rule book from the previous Intra-ITs will be done in with concern with the PTIs and the sports advisor. Along these months, we'll be working on administration, we'll be trying to solve problems, and more importantly, Intra-IT hosting won't be just a student-run initiative or an organizing. We will be using the organizations and the companies outside will be taking their help. We'll be outsourcing many things like screening, and we'll be collaborating with clubs to put the scorecard or make a new website.
Can you be more specific?
Eventually, after all these planning, the team formation will be done. The Intra-IT Executive Committee, which will be along with SOC, will be extending the SOC, and then these hospitality, accommodation, security, events, on-ground execution, these kind of verticals will be made and formed and recruited. The coordinators will be recruited from the contingent as well as from the GSB. Then during the Intra-IT, the execution, the sports will be
Okay. I understood. Okay, leave this. So my next question is, we are hosting Inter-IT. So to both of you, so are you planning to make a new Inter-IT organizing committee, or you will work with the SOC? Because in SOC, most of the team members are from the contingent. So they will be busy with their practice and for Inter-IT. So how will you make sure that organization will happen perfectly?
So basically, I see hosting an Intra-IT a magnificent chance for SOC to brand itself and work on the branding and its image as a whole towards the institute. My plan will be extending the SOC and open about different verticals, as I mentioned, accommodation, hospitality, and recruiting coordinators and codes for all the other verticals as well, and keeping the same verticals as it is right now. Basically, an expansion of the SOC team will work for the entirety, which will also help the SOC.
So basically expanding SOC. So my main question is SOC. Most of the members are from contingent who will be playing sport in their entirety. So they will be not available for organizing an event. So how you tackle that issue?
Due to this reason, we'll be bringing up new verticals, and during the recruitment, we'll be pushing out the general student body to take up responsibilities more. We'll be focusing on the hosting of the aquatics meet using the intra-ID players which are not in the contingent. The people who are outside the aquatics contingent, they'll be working for the team which will be executing the aquatics meet. After that, we'll be changing the number of members in it, and that particular team will be keeping to change the number of members and whosoever is taking a part on the verticals.
Obviously, expanding SOC team is one initiative. Along with that, I have two other manifesto points clearly stating how we'll be executing this without burdening our contingents. First thing is getting probables who don't make it into the contingent to ensure they become POCs for each sport, so that coordinating is very easy and they're aware of the rule books as well. So it doesn't become a hassle for people who are not aware of the sport. That is first initiative. Second one, NSS people, we could get them to join the hospitality vertical, those who are not part of the inter-IT contingents. So these people would also have a beforehand experience how things work, and we'll be easily able to get them and ensure that they're held accountable for what they do. At the same time, they get credits, a POR, and we get the manpower to ensure that everything is organized smoothly. These are two initiatives that I plan to ensure that the team is not just about people from the sphere, but also from outside. And although people from the sphere will be part of, they won't be actively playing the sport, so they'll have enough time and won't be burdened with the work of playing sport and managing the organizational part of the inter-IT sports meet.
Now my next question is for Dev. So first of all, I went through your feasibility report and I have to say I was shocked. First, there is no timeline. Second, there is no budget attached. Third, you didn't even bother to take feasibility from me. So with all these missing pieces, how exactly do you think you are the right candidate for Institute Sports Secretary?
What was your question?
Hello?
New hostel building, mess building.
Your feasibility lacks three major things: timeline, budget, and feasibility from the current ISS.
So the reason of not getting the feasibility from you is I kept trying to communicate with you and establish a communication with you and to prove my feasibility, and in an offline meet. Going on an online meet or a phone call as a candidate gives me privacy insecurities that you may leak the point. I was requesting for a time slot to the last day. You came to the campus around 7 p.m., which was nearly 3 hours before the manifesto submission deadline.
Before that you said we'll plan online meeting, but you didn't message me anything. You just messaged on the last day that, Bhaiya, are you available?
Can we go to the next question?
And after you're asking feasibility after the deadline of the feasibility. I can't give you feasibility after the deadline is done.
Hi, Dave and Abiram. Congratulations. I think you both have very good credentials, and all the best to both. Now, as a sports person, I hope that you both value the importance of observing rules, and you people will follow all the rules and regulations, right? Okay, since we are on the feasibility, I have two questions for Abiram on the feasibility itself. So first relates to your legacy hall, right? Legacy hall is to establish a hall of fame at the Heritage Center to honor top sports alumni. Perfect. Can you tell me, Heritage Center comes under which dean?
So for this, I had taken feasibility.
Can you tell me, Heritage Center comes under which dean?
INAR.
Wrong. Heritage Center comes under Dean Admin. And since Heritage Club is under IAR, that doesn't mean that Heritage Center comes under Dean IAR. So your feasibility stands nullified. Right? Okay. Moving on to your another point. Prime Fit. Prime Fit is a structured physiotherapy and rehab program to prevent injuries and aid recovery. And you have written it in your feasibility that it is during main camp and mini camp. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. Can you please tell me what is the procedure for recruiting any health professional in institute?
So for this, as far as my understanding is concerned, we first approach the chief medical officer, and ensure that they are on board with the plan. And since it's sports related as well, we'll need the sports advisor and Gymkhana to be in on the plan as well.
I'll clarify in a minute.
And based on these, if everything goes well, we can approach and get a physiotherapist and a strength conditioning coach.
So you said CMO, am I right? CMO? Where in your feasibility have you mentioned CMO?
So with respect...
And one clarification.
Clarification is, as far as the enrollment of the new physiotherapists is concerned, there is a committee called Hospital Committee, which is headed by the Dean Admin. And the Dean of Students is nowhere part of it. So if this should be there in your manifesto or feasibility, the feasibility should come from Dean Administration.
And definitely not.
Yeah, and definitely not from Dean Students, but also, like as Athar mentioned.
Not from sports advisor.
Yeah. Not from sports advisors, Gymkhana. No one is concerned in this committee. The only biggest stakeholder is the Dean Administration.
All right, we'll come back to you again. But so far, I'll move to Dev. Dev, you have a point on you have some point related to establishing sports infrastructure in departments. Right? What is that point about? What is that point called as?
Play and learn.
Play and learn. Perfect. Nice name.
Last basket.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Can you tell me who is the final authority to permit anything, any infrastructural change to happen in the department?
I understand that. Yeah. I haven't taken the feasibility from the professors.
Professors are not the final authority. Can you just tell, do you know or not?
As per my understanding, Dean of Students.
Okay. So as per your understanding is wrong. It is HOD. HOD is responsible to take final call. So none of your feasibility points mentioned about HOD for this point. I'm sorry. For play and learn, you have not taken feasibility from HOD. How are you contesting an election on this is something questionable, right? I'll move on to the next.
Yeah, so I have a question for Dev. So you have mentioned a point in your manifesto regarding edu sports. So what do you think is the role of the ISS in like the introduction of such an initiative?
Just on a note, 30 minutes remaining for easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as per my understanding, each and every initiative which increases the GSB participation and brings more people to the sports sphere is the role of a sports secretary. For making the manifesto, I've talked to hundreds of students and getting their inputs. There was a lack of nutrition and sports-based course right now in the curriculum. Many people were there who really wanted to learn about this particular sphere and who wanted to gain knowledge about aspects like nutrition, for example. But we weren't having any courses. So my initiative will work for these students and will cater to this audience who will be a part of the sports sphere using the education and acads.
Yeah, and how will you actually start the process of introducing such an course?
This is a collaborative point with the academic affairs secretary, and I've discussed the idea with the dean acads. So before introducing a new course, we'll have to take the feasibility from or discuss the idea with the head of department. And we have to propose to that prof. The very first step is to request the prof and to make him available to take the course offline. And then proceeding, we have to raise the request to Dean of Students. And then it comes through Dean of Acads, we get the feasibility and the execution of the course is done.
Yeah, just one small addition. So like After that is done, the course will go into the Board of Academic Courses, and from there it has to be passed, and then it will go on to the Senate. Just
Clarification. Then maybe you can ask. One clarification to the previous, not a clarification, but I want to bring it on notice, on record. For your play and learn, in many departments, there is no sitting space for the students, let alone you getting a space for the sports infrastructure. And many departments are like that. So I think you should rework on that when you become, if you become, right? Yeah.
My question is for Dev. Can you explain your strong her point in your manifesto?
Yeah. So the motivation behind the Strong Her initiative was the...
No, just tell me the execution. How will you execute?
Okay, so basically it's an initiative of Dean of Students which I am as the sports secretary going to take up in my tenure. He has already raised around 6 lakh rupees in his tenure through his initiative to work towards the girls' hostel, all 5 hostels. As a sports secretary, what change I'll make is I'll be selecting 2 different hostels from the 2 girls' hostel zones, one Sabar and one Padra, because those are convenient hostels and they are having enough space for the participation of new sessions and instructor-led professional sessions. So these gyms will be then, modern facilities will be brought to these gyms, and sessions using instructors and professional trainers will be then conducted.
So in your feasibility report, you have mentioned that we have already received funding. What does that we mean? It's you or the current ISS?
Actually, as I mentioned, the initiative is from the Dean of Students, which he wants me to take up as a sports...
Who is we here?
Dean of Students.
Then why is it in your feasibility? And one more thing, since the funding has already been received, why are you putting this in your manifesto? And when do you expect this gym to start?
So as my tenure will start, we start to use this 6 lakh rupees, and because I'm taking up the initiative, throughout the year we'll be raising alumni funds as we do for the other hostels. These alum funds will be used for all the 2 girls hostel gyms, so that we can work even more on these
Just
initiatives.
to clarify, the election is on March 3rd. I expect the SCC will release results by March 10th. But the gym's new equipment will be bought and will be opened by March 8th, which is the Women's Day. And I hope you won't be the official institute sports secretary by then. Then there's no point to put this in your manifesto and the feasibility report. And you have not mentioned the sports secretaries of Sabarmati in the feasibility report. I hope she is the main stakeholder.
And Sabarmati doesn't have a place also to build a gym, just to clarify.
It is in
Sorry, Bhadra Hostel.
Ask questions.
Hi guys, hi Dev, hi Abiram. I went through both of your manifestos and a lot of it talks about enhancing facilities, making it more accessible to people, making it more inclusive for all, for women, for men, for PG. We'll add kabaddi, we'll add kho-kho, we'll add every sport that is not there. We'll put it in SAC, we'll put it in departments, we'll put hostel also, we'll do everything. But the eye-opening moment is that all of this requires money, right? For this question goes to both of you because this is a theme across both of your manifestos. Explain the exact funding sources of Gymkhana or the entire sports sphere. Which are the different funding sources? How much you get from each of those places? Tell me the total delta that you expect of all of your initiatives combined. How much extra money you will need in your tenure? Yeah. And after all that, include inter-IT in this. Your entire inter-IT organizing, how much money extra is going to come, how much is going to be spent, etc. And tell me where that delta is going to come from. Goes to both of you. You can choose who starts.
They need 2 minutes to think. Only 2 minutes?
To think. I don't know if that it's not a select. Go to Abiram's last page. There's a budget sheet.
Hey Suket, yeah, to answer off the question, As of now, the sports sphere receives money from 4 avenues. The first one, stacked A, that is the institute budget. Stacked B, that which gets passed in SLC. Stacked C, that is for NSO as of now. And stacked D, that is the joy of giving portal money that we get in.
Okay,
So these
come
are
again, come again. It's NSO.
Stacked A.
What is stacked? You spell it out.
Stacked A, STACT.
Student Activities Trust. So all transactions happen through Student Activities Trust.
The money goes into Gymkhana's account, and that is from where we utilize the money.
Correct, but it's called stacked A is what you mean. Okay, continue.
Stacked A, Stack B, Stack C, Stack D, as I mentioned. And yeah, for whatever inter-IT purposes.
No, explain the sources. What does institute budget mean? Where is the money coming from?
MHRD. The institute budget comes from MHRD.
That's the first one. That's the first one.
Yes, Stacked A.
Next, let's go to B. Where is the money coming from?
Stack B, whatever students pay, whatever is taken as Gymkhana fees, that is what we derive when it gets passed from it.
What is Gymkhana fees? Who's paying it?
The students, we paid during our institute fees and hostel fees payment. Along with that, the Gymkhana fees is also included in that.
Is Gymkhana fees, is that the term used in the hostel fee breakup?
Gymkhana fees, this term was mentioned in the constitution. So,
Tell me on practicality today, when you pay your hostel fees, what are the different components in it?
one is our whatever admission fees we have, like to register for courses and our academic.
That is not a part of hostel fee. Hostel fee, yeah.
Sorry?
Hostel fee I'm talking about, not academic fee.
Components of hostel fees.
Dave, you can go if any of you is stuttering and if you feel like you know the answer on spot, the other one can go.
The stacked A funds come from the MHARD, from the government, as he mentioned. Stacked B comes from the establishment amount which the students pay. One section from that.
How many establishment fees are there?
Sorry?
What do you mean by establishment fee?
A section of fee from the students is taken and
What is it called? It's called establishment fee?
Yes.
There are 2 establishment fees. Establishment A, establishment B. Which one of those do you get?
Establishment A.
In stacked.
In stacked.
That is wrong. Establishment A does not come to stacked. Establishment B also does not come to stacked. What else is there?
Stacked, the C is there for NSO.
There is no establishment C. There is establishment A and establishment B. You do not get either of them. What else is
Under
there?
stacked, the 4 parts of budget A, B, C, D. C is for the NSO.
No, I'm still talking about stacked only. The stack B that he said.
Stack B.
Where does that money come from?
From the student fees.
Which part of student fees and how much? Per student, you tell me. Abiram, if you want to go.
See, if I am getting it right, under the hostel fees is what you want to know, the number of components, like what components.
Okay, just forget all this. Tell me per person how much money comes to the Student Activities Trust that is governed by the SLC. That part I'm asking. The budget that gets passed in SLC, no? Even you will bring a budget. How much is in total available per person? Tell me on a per student basis, per semester. Both of you were present as representatives of the sports sphere in an executive council meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 10 days ago. This was a very explicit discussion that we had there in both of your presence. And I don't see either of you remembering a single number from there on what exactly is the issue with stack today. Move on. Tell me the third component, that stack C that you said. Where does the money come from?
Last answer. From each student, 1,500 comes to the SLC.
That is wrong. How much? Forget it. We've already understood that both of you do not know the answer to this question. I'm asking about the third component, stack C that you said. Tell me where that money comes from. Non-SLC. You said stack A, stack B, stack C, stack D. The third one. What was it?
That was for NSO and all related activities.
Where does that money come from? Where does that money come from? Both of you do not know. Now tell me how much the total funding of the sports sphere is. A plus B plus C plus D.
Usually we get roughly around 3 CR from stacked A thing, and we draw close to 85 lakhs from stack B, which is passed through SLC. Stack C information we aren't given from Gymkhana, and stack D, the joy of giving portal 1, it keeps varying based on how alumni funds us.
Same answer. Now tell me your delta and tell me your delta. For your initiatives, how much money do you need? For your initiatives, how much money do you need? Extra money that I'm talking about, not the existing. Yeah.
He wants to see and explain the budget.
He wants to?
Explain the budget.
Sure.
My initiatives, all the division of the initiatives and whatever funds are required, I'll mention the total amount. Whatever is required from the stacked.
What is it? How much is it?
Just give me 1 minute.
Where is this budget exactly? Is it in your feasibility report? Is this in your feasibility report?
I haven't mentioned the budget in the feasibility report.
Which page number?
No, I haven't mentioned.
You haven't?
I have sent the link on the link tree. During the submission, we are having lack of space and there was a problem. So due to that, I had to take out those sheets.
Fine.
If you didn't mention it in the feasibility report, then the budget is not considered.
Yeah.
I did mention my budget in the feasibility report. I've attached it as a sheet at the last page of the feasibility report.
Okay,
just
tell me
go-
how much the number is, final number.
That's all, huh? For new gym, new this.
People can hear you, bro.
No, that is for the...
Total amount of 6 lakh is the total for all the initiatives, whatever I've included in my manifesto.
Including hostel pitches, your departments, you will put table tennis in all departments.
Yeah.
How much does a table tennis table and all that cost?
I've taken amount around 1,50,000
Per
considering
this
the
thing.
per
How
one
many
place.
departments are there?
We are going to dry run for CLT. CLT is the first target for us.
CLT is not department. How many departments do you want to try? I'm talking about play and learn wala point.
So CLT and ESB, 2 spots is my target right now. The
Why
2
only
common
those
places.
2? Did you get feasibility from?
Yeah, exactly. Because the sports advisor was willing to do the initiative and
Sports
start.
advisor, who is sports advisor? Did the electrical engineering head of department tell you that you can set it up in my department?
This idea was I discussed with the dean of
Then
students.
how will dean of students govern this? Dean of students cannot decide which department gets what. So if you don't know if the CLT and the electrical department HODs, CLT is again HSB. So if the humanities science block HOD or if the physics HOD or the electrical engineering HOD are both not giving you feasibility for this, then you do not know it's those 2. And if it was going to be only 2 departments, then you should have told in your manifesto that there's going to be only 2 departments. And where is that 6 lakh money coming from now?
That will come from the SLC budget. We had to pass.
There is no money in SLC. There is absolutely no money in SLC. If you have a cheaper water bottle on your table today instead of Bisleri, that is because SLC does not have money.
We had to make a few changes and then adjust
What
the
changes
budget.
will you make?
We
Who
had
is
to
making these
cut money
changes?
from the present events what's going on.
I would like to answer my part of the thing. I budgeted for roughly 23.5 lakhs for the initiatives that I've mentioned, out of which 15 lakhs we'd be using from the institute budget, because every year out of this 3 CR we get for institute budget, there's something allotted for gym as well, whether it's for revamping or procurement of new equipments. So this part of the budget will be used. If we cut down on that, it's still roughly 7 to 8 lakhs extra for my initiatives. Few of them, which I plan on getting through sponsorships, let's say for extreme thrills and the gold standard which I mentioned, that is reward system for athletes and the obstacle course and adventures club thing. For this, we are collaborating with Devil Circuit. They'll be bringing in their own equipments, and I've taken feasibility from the KV principal to set it up in the KV grounds. So we
How big is this entire circuit?
How big is the circuit?
How much percentage of the KV ground do you expect to use?
We would require roughly 45%. Thing is, they have various number of obstacle courses.
Did Prakriti give you feasibility for this?
Sorry?
Did Prakriti?
Yes.
You know what Prakriti is?
I had gone and spoken to him. He said it's fine if it's on a weekend.
Who did you talk to?
The KV principal.
I'm asking about Prakriti. Prakriti is not a person. Prakriti is the club.
No. I only gone to the KV principal because we usually approach him for getting fees. Permissions regarding
your access to the KV ground is subject to 2 people saying yes or 3 people saying yes. First is the KV principal, second the dean of academics, and the third is the head or the faculty in charge of Prakriti. If you get a no from any of these 3 people, then KV grounds will continue to be restricted. A devil circuit, 45% of KV grounds is, the Culsex will agree with me on how hard it is to get even a small percentage of KV grounds and for us to use it, and how much restrictions we have to go through, let alone some circuit where you're making people run around.
And for the gold standard thing, again we'll be collaborating with Decathlon and other sporting partners who are willing to sponsor us and give us like coupons like flat 50% off, flat 30% off coupons. So these, whatever money required for
Done. We heard. You just quickly tell me where your extra money is coming from and then we'll close this question.
On a note, 10 minutes left. Sorry.
Whatever majority of the commitments or the initiatives are required from my manifesto, I'm going to raise money from the alum funds, keeping requests on the Joy of Giving portal, and then wait for the alum funds. After procuring that amount of money, we'll be putting for those initiatives. We are not making a good use of the alum funds. We are having enough money, but that's not actually being put to use for the hostels. So whatever initiatives are regarding the hostels, I'm going to help the sports secretaries and my initiatives to use that particular alum fund for it.
So currently alumni budget is not used for hostels, is it? That's what you have stated, if I'm not wrong.
This year it was raised, but it wasn't used for any of the initiatives. So we...
Whose initiatives? Whose initiatives? Yours, ISS?
No, the current ISS, this year.
Do you have any initiatives for hostel infrastructures?
For the hostel revamp, the money...
There are 3 to 4 hostels who have used alumni budget and have raised gym and other infrastructure using alumni funds. I don't know why you are contradicting.
Done now? So the budget discussion is going on, so just I want to add one thing. So next year, Sportfest, Jimmy George and JFKR, budget won't get passed through SLC. We have a lot of discussion in SLC there. So what's your plan, how you are planning to organize these events, and from where you are getting fundings? Both of you.
I have already had ideas about this. Let's say Jimmy George and GFKR, since these are volleyball and basketball specific tournaments. Recently, basketball team did have an alumni match with their, a match with their alumni. So if we can use this opportunity of alumni match for these sports and use it as a fundraising opportunity, we can actually generate funds to ensure that these tournaments survive even without the SLC budget being passed. Other than that, there's already existent Joy of Giving portal thing for sports. If we can, put in requests and ensure that the reputation of the tournament is so high that the alumni would be more than willing to sponsor these events by funding in. The third avenue I see is sponsorships again, because Jimmy George and JFKR are very reputed in the South Circuit. So I don't think there's any issue of approaching and getting sponsors. The only setback we have had so far is Gymkhana didn't want any of it to happen because budget was being passed constantly. If we cut down on their income source, they'll obviously be open to the short of approaching sponsors and getting them on board. And with the legacy that IITM Sports holds, and just the IITM branding, I feel it will be more than easy to get in sponsors.
So already we have a lot of team pages on JoyF portal, and getting funding for the institute team is very difficult. So right now, how you are planning to get fundings for these major events, Jimmy George and JFKR? Because for small teams like aquatics, football, basketball, getting funding is really very difficult for.
To whom the question?
For Abiram.
Yeah, so to answer this question, let's say the teams are last, that's where the point of connecting to alumni, Generations Connect, comes in from my manifesto. We'll be sending them updates about what our achievements are and also be attaching the links to Joy of Giving portal there. And I believe batches who prior to like 2010 or 2005 graduated batches, if we connect with them, let them know what our sports contingents are going through and what achievements we have and the shortage we have, I believe that they will be more than happy to fund it. As an alumni perspective, I feel, let's say even if I graduate down the lane, if my team requires something, I'd be more than willing to give in to the team. So I feel there's always this connect, and the way we portray inter-IT sports meet, the bonding the teams have, the family feeling that everyone has once the meet is done or during the training program, I think it's more than easy to happen. Especially the aquatics team has something called as Sharks. They have WhatsApp groups connecting with alumni all the way until 1990s or 1985. So I feel it's a very open opportunity that we are not utilizing properly as of now.
Yeah, so my question is to Abiram.
Wait, he also has to answer, right?
You also have to answer.
After the budget meeting we had with the EC, I had discussed the ongoing problem with the Gymkhana. So what idea or what discussion we had was, we'll be putting an outreach from Gymkhana to the alumni, and we'll be dedicating the entire tournament on the name of that particular alumni or that particular department, and then trying to raise funds from this. I believe that this particular thing, if we are able to do successfully, the alums will be having enough motivation to put in the alum funds.
So for that, you have to change the name of Jimmy George and JFK also. So it will, again, people won't recognize it if you change the name suddenly. This is also an issue, right?
As per my understanding, if we are facing budget crunches and in case we are not having any solutions, this problem will, with a small compromise, will be able to execute this particular tournament. That's more important for the institute. The tournament will be recognized through a new name, and then we can build that particular brand in a few years in the culture.
Because Jimmy George and JFK are organizing for the last 50 years. You can't suddenly just change the name of the event, and it's a nationally recognized event, right?
4 more minutes.
Yeah, so my question is to Abiram. This is regarding your athletics arena point, which you have mentioned that you'll have something like this in the SAC building, right? And how do you think that is possible? Like, when are you expecting SAC to get renovated? Or are you expecting SAC to get renovated?
So to start off, to answer the question,
Please be quick, we have very less time.
Yeah. Dean Planning said that it would be happening somewhere around July if we put in a proposal properly. And I'm very aware that this project wouldn't come to its completion before my tenure ends. But it's a way forward.
See, I'll guarantee you that this project won't start even in your tenure. Because currently engineering unit has 3 main buildings that are going to construct. They're going to demolish Sarayu, and one construction is going beside Himalaya, and they're going to construct one more mess and one more hostel. And I'll guarantee that SAC is never a priority for the engineering unit. I hope you would have taken better fund days from Dean Planning. And Dev, my next question is to Dev. This is regarding your sports mess point. So where are you going to have this sports mess? Where?
As per my knowledge from my fund day, currently we are having 12 messes, and the next year the mess
12?
Number of messes is going to reduce by 4. We are
Currently how many messes are there?
12.
Where are 12 messes?
Including all the halls which are currently in...
Yeah, please list out 12 messes.
Sorry?
Please list out all the 12 messes.
I've taken the number from the course, one of the committee course.
No. You'll go to mess, no? You'd be knowing you are here in the campus for 3 years. There are only 11 mess halls currently in Insti. So where are you going to have your sports mess?
Whatever messes are being eliminated this time, using those particular venues or the Jain mess which was there previously, that particular mess hall, the Neelkesh mess, that particular area will be used if we are having it empty at that time, when we are actually executing the sports mess before the inter-IT.
And also regarding the budget you have mentioned, Gymkhana will be giving 30 lakhs you have told. And do you think Gymkhana will be willing to give this 30 lakh for the GSB members who are not in sports contingent? Are you sure Gymkhana will give?
They won't be giving 30 lakhs. The main idea is...
Yeah. Even some part, do you think Gymkhana will give?
These 30 lakhs,
For students who are not part in the sports contingent.
these 30 lakhs are currently being used towards the sports mess and it's being concentrated just before the intra-IT. So the main idea of the Gymkhana officer is that we can evenly distribute that particular money and make students be
It's not
motivated for the-
feasible. I also tried for it, but again, it's not feasible of making a year-long sports match because first thing, contingent won't be selected. Contingent will be selected after sport fest. So before that, everyone will be probable. So making a mess for all the probables, how will you decide the 300 number of people?
And I see you have not taken feasibility from MCC chairman or CCW or those, or even the current has.
That will be the last question. OS.
Ask one question.
Yes.
Hi, chess captain. Cricket captain. Are you sure? Can we believe that? Okay, fine. So, Abiram Pramod, God knows. Abiram Pramod, Atar Joshi, my question to you. Dev Joshi, my question to you. See, I'm not like them. I don't want to roast you. We'll just calm things down a
Question.
bit. Yeah, very simple question. So, Abiram Pramod, what's one point you like in Atar Joshi's manifesto?
Dev Joshi.
And Dev Joshi, what is one thing you like in Abiram Pramod's manifesto?
That's the last question.
You want to ask?
No. Well, you have to go.
Can I just have a look? Like, I just want to know the title of the point, that's it. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, in Dev's manifesto, the point I really like is cricket pitch, because he's doing something for the sport he loves, and I feel that's a great initiative that he's trying to bring in like more cricket pitches in the institute, which he's been doing since he's been a sports sec from Kaveri and Narmada. So I feel that's something good, and he wants to bring in more pitches and make sure cricket lives and becomes more popular.
The initiative of bringing an on-campus sports store is a thing which we are trying from several years. And also the Gymkhana and the administration are quite ready to do this job and really bring this initiative onto the execution. So this particular point in Abiram's manifesto is also one of the points which I'm also going to focus on my tenure. This is one of the best points I thought from his manifesto.
Okay, now we will move on to the spare heads questions. One person per question, and I will decide whether follow-up is required or not. Then we'll go like 1-1-1. So who wants to ask first? Be precise with the question. 15 minutes time.
Okay. Hi Dev, hi Abiram. First of all, congratulations. It takes really huge guts to stand in an election, and I feel, an elected secretary always value the position more than a unanimous secretary. So my question is to Abiram. So false credentials has been a talk of the town, and false credentials has been a talk of the town, and you mentioned in your manifesto and also in your PPT that you were the contingent representative of Indore contingent. I honestly don't know what that position means. I don't think there's that position exists in the rule book. Other, you can confirm that. And
Question?
Yeah.
What's your question?
Yeah. So, who selected you? Who selected you? How were you selected? What was the basis of your selection? And what work did you do? And I honestly don't believe a non-playing ISS who had 2 women's reps to support him needed a contingent representative. Was this position created so that you get more visibility for your election?
So first of all, thank you for the question, Vikram. I was waiting for this to come up. And
Decorum.
To answer this, like this year, Oves, due to his injury, couldn't be part of the contingent, and he came in as a staff member. And the Indo contingent people from the other side, the organizing team, wanted someone from the contingent to be the student representative or the POC to convey details and make sure everything runs smoothly with respect to what IITM's schedule or everything looked like. And at that point, the sports, Raju sir was there, JWL sir was there, current ISS Oves was there, and all of them took into factor my credentials of being in the inter-IT contingent for 3 years, me being the captain of the chess team, and also the head of the sports organizing committee. This is no publicity stunt and just something that I gained out of what I have achieved. I was also a bronze medalist last year, so I feel this adds and deserves value, and that is something I've earned and not God of favoritism.
Decorum, on a note, Aditya Vikram, on a note, complaint has been raised, right? Clarifications will be taken from required authorities. If necessary, action will be taken. Yes, but we have time restriction. We'll move on to the next question. We'll come back.
Let me ask. Dev, in the beginning of the conversation, you very mockingly using air quotes pointed out that he's encouraging people to sit and play sports. I want to point out this very insensitive and disgraceful statement. What do you think about people who are physically disabled?
Do you want to ask the question or make a statement? Ask the question.
Yeah, there are people who are physically disabled and cannot go out there and play, and something like esports or chess is a sport for them. What are your... You're nodding your head. I expect an apology from you for that, because that's very insensitive. What are your initiatives for people who are physically disabled and want to play in the sports sphere? What are your initiatives for that?
I was not actually meaning the thing which you are raising right now and making an entire big thing against me. This particular point wasn't raised by me. My entire idea was whatever Gymkhana is ideating and whatever their goals are, the particular point of the initiative is not in the correspondence with the sports fair and the Gymkhana. This particular point comes from culturals. This was my point, and not towards any of the sections or whatever you have mentioned. So,
next question.
Hi Abiram, hi Dev. I have a question for you, Dev. You mentioned under women's inclusion that there would be racket sports clubs. Is this for all racket sports?
yes, I'm targeting for all racket sports.
Okay, you mentioned weekly training sessions. Who would these training sessions be conducted by? And also, don't you think it was necessary to ask for like a feasibility check from the squash and tennis captains before you put this on your manifesto?
Again, because I wasn't able to establish a communication with all the captains, my initial step was to take feasibility from the badminton and table tennis women captains. As per your question, the instructors will be the coaches from outside. I have taken the feasibility to the Gymkhana. They are quite willing to do these seeding tournaments to enhance the participation of girls, so that we can really work on the participation in shorter and teens. This is the entire motivation behind this point. So these sessions, along with instructors and the present coach, they'll be the girls we are onboarding, they'll be in touch with the current institute team. Then they'll get the sessions along with them and they'll work on their skill development.
Next question.
Hello Dev, hello Abiram. Both of you have mentioned a lot of sports to be added, especially for women, namely hockey, cricket, football. First of all, what are the venues that you are planning to put in? What is the budget, if at all required? Like where will you get it from? What is the timeline through which you are trying to implement it? Because the slots are pretty busy. And what are exactly the competitions that you want them to be included in? Secondly, you have mentioned Kho-Kho as your initiative. That is already in
It's already
talks.
Too much.
So that how is it your initiative, Dev?
One of my initiatives, I've mentioned that I'll be initiating women's football and women's cricket. These will be the priority sports. For the budget, we'll be using the same NSO budget, and whatever we are getting for boys, we'll be adding on top of that. We'll be using the same pads, same gloves, whatever we are having right now, because this particular system was going on before 2 years as well. For football, again, we'll be using the same apparatus what we are having for the boys team. Same grounds will be used, whatever they are using for the NSO and the current institute practices.
Yeah, so to answer this question, first of all, whatever equipments we need is already in place. The budget for trainers, which I mentioned, I've already added that to my budget sheet in the feasibility report. And this, we would be getting it passed through the SLC budget itself. We'll cut down on other requirements because a lot of things right now we are spending in excess. So as a SOC head, I've seen the budgeting sheet, how it works, and I'm pretty sure we can make enough money to get this initiative started and running. As far as timeline is concerned, we would be having it in the even sem because I know a lot of women contingent is very active during the odd sem to undergo training in the inter-IT sports meet. So we'll make sure that it doesn't clash with any of it. And as far as the tournaments you have asked for, there is All India Inter-University tournaments which we could take them to. There are multiple invitational tournaments that I'm planning on doing so that we can get external teams to IITM and they get exposure before they go on playing these high value tournaments like Khelo India or All India Inter-University. Along with that, we could possibly extend it and add it as a new sport in Sports Fest as well.
Next question.
She's saying second part of the question was not answered.
How is Coco the new initiative?
No.
How is Coco a new initiative?
How is Coco?
It was to Dev.
The point is to propose introduction of Kho into the inter-IT sports meet board meeting and to bring that that particular sport into the sports fest at the institute level.
It's already there in talks, right? It won't come in your tenure as such. If the board meeting has happened, the sports advisors are already talking about it. So how is it beyond new initiative?
We'll be proposing in the board meeting. That will be done by the administration and the secretary this year. We currently not propose Kho or Kabaddi or any of those sports till now for the inter-IT sports.
Next question. Next question.
I'll come back to you, okay?
So, hi. My question is to Dev. You were just mentioning about the racket sport initiative for women's, right? I'm bringing this up because something you said contradicts to my knowledge. I was having an informal conversation with the squash PTI as well as the squash coach, and they have no intimation of anything regarding, a women's weekly session being conducted. And as a matter of fact, the squash coach has a very tight schedule and he's not been regularly coming for our practice sessions.
Can you come to the question?
Yeah, so what kind of feasibility do you take from PTIs and coaches, really?
The entire idea was discussed properly with Raju sir, sitting with them. It was ideated. I've also discussed the same thing with the TD and the badminton captains. I won't feel that this particular problem, this initiative will be a problematic while execution because the weekly tournaments will be conducted and the seeding, the ranking matches won't be at a very higher frequency. It will be quite feasible to do it along with the practice teams.
We will take 2 more questions.
Hi, my question is to Abiram. You've proposed a sports shop, right? Can you elaborate where exactly you intend to establish this sports shop? And from whom have you taken feasibility for it?
Yeah, so to establish the sports shop, there are 2 ways that I'm looking at. First thing is to bring in inventory through Gymkhana and set it up within the current facilities that we have, and we can use it on a sharing basis or as well as people could buy it from there. The second opportunity that I see is right in front of the Kaveri mess. There's a zone where Shastra and Sarang teams used to secure their merchandise and stuff. That is another spot that I've identified which we could use potentially as a sports shop thing.
Just on a note, even I think before previous ISS Soapbox as well, Aditya Vikram has mentioned the same. But he also had an issue in establishing it. How will you establish it? Correct? Do you want to clarify?
Somebody is clarifying.
Give the mic. Give the mic. You can clarify it as well, I think.
So yeah, about the sports shop, what we tried was initially me and Akhil tried. So Kalyan tried. The ICICI Bank, it didn't work. Then the laundry bus, it didn't work. Then we had talks of doing it in front of the Gymkhana, but I don't know about the feasibility about that. Like, it never went through. So,
One last question from the Spar side. No, back, that person. After this, we'll move on to the audience question.
Hi. So I have one common question for both of you and one specific question to each. So
One
first
question,
of all,
just one question.
but one question to
One
each,
question,
right?
common
Arey
question.
yaar.
Or one question, one person, that's it.
One question. Okay. So first of all, Abiram, you mentioned about increasing the quality of sock, right, by having different measures. So Dev, what are your plans as well to increase the quality of sock and how we work? Because last tenure, both of you, as you were heads, we have seen what sock has done. Basically, yeah, that's what has been done.
Yeah.
So how do you plan on improving that?
Okay.
So,
It's for Abiram, right? That's a question. Both.
So yeah, I feel this year is a very big opportunity for us to rebrand SOC because we'll be hosting Inter-IT Sports Meet, and being part of an organizing team of something of such a large scale is very prestigious, and it would usually come up as a resume peak as well. So I feel if we do enough PR, have multiple orientation sessions with proper awareness, and also open volunteer positions to the 25 batch people who would be coming in, I feel we'll be able to generate enough people and, develop that culture where SOC is equally recognized and has its own legacy down the lane, like probably 5 or 10 years later. It is a process that has to be started and will take some time, and this is the opportunity to utilize. And I feel right now we don't really, open positions to freshies. So that's one big constraint I see in the Sphere. Because if we do that, automatically they are the ones who are most enthusiastic to join multiple PORs. And if we give them a flavor of what we have to offer, probably they'll grow in the Sphere.
As the sports secretary, having the responsibility to run SOC and to work on its branding and quality, what I feel from this year is that we were really bad during the immersion session and during the actual team building. So what I would focus as a secretary is, I'll be making all the aspiring course meet. Those are being done in a timely manner, and we really focus on to groom cores and groom new cores from the chords we were having in this particular tenure. Also, as I mentioned previously, we'll be expanding the SOC. We'll be opening up new verticals which will be working for the inter-IT hosting, like accommodation, hospitality, surveillance, safety, events. These kind of things will be catering to newer audience. The people who are interested in those things will be taking up these new verticals. They'll be getting recruited to these verticals. I think because of this, the culture would enhance, and we would be working on the diversity of the whatever cores and quads we are having currently in SOC.
Okay, now we will move on to the audience questioning. Before that, the PG representative and cricket team person hasn't come. So their representative has, I think vice representatives, 1 or 2 people are here. If they can raise up your hands, we'll go with you first, then we can go with the other audience. Are the representatives there? Okay, then we'll move on to the... give the mic to the person. Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, kindly note that there will be one question per GSB. There will be no follow-ups. Be precise with the question.
Commissioner wants him to go.
And the candidates can choose whether to answer that or not.
Hi, Abiram. I had just one question. You mentioned that for your NSO initiative, you would want to cut funds from SLC itself. So, as a matter of fact, you would know that in your odd semester, you spent 6 lakhs extra, and you had to cut down on GFKR and Jimmy Jot this semester to fit it in your budget. So,
how are you planning to, tackle this issue that if you're going to cut funds from every single team, then the captains are going to lash out at you? How are you, getting NSO women's into this?
Hey Atman, to answer off your question, I never mentioned that the NSO initiators budget would be taken from SLC. You can go through my feasibility report. I'm sorry if you haven't checked it properly. We'll be taking the budget for the NSO thing from the NSO budget itself that comes from Stack C, and it won't be hampering the budget that we propose and take from SLC. Nor do I want to diminish any other sphere's budget just to ensure my initiators come to life. I will be very rational about it and ensure everyone functions smoothly and in coherence.
Next question. Yeah.
1 second, is the representative to PG Core here? Okay, no, then we'll go ahead.
Yeah, this side. Who wants to ask a question? Okay, Mokshagna, that's it. Yeah, give. One question, no follow-ups.
We can ask from past also, right?
Just
Hi, Abiram. Yeah, so previously I had asked you for gym vendors, like for repair, and you suggested me some numbers which are not even from Chennai. So, like, the experience plays a role. How do you defend that?
What? No, we'll give it to the red
So,
t-shirt.
hey, to answer off that question, see, the contacts which I share was the ones that we were utilizing right now in certain hostels. So that is what we shared with you. And about experience, I don't think sharing contacts has to do anything with experience, first of all. And secondly, I was only trying to help you out with the gym vendor. And if that is a crime, I'm really sorry for doing that. And to go forward, I also have multiple connects, and if you wanted gym vendors for repair purposes from Chennai itself, I would have given you contacts for that as well. You could have just texted me once again saying that these vendors were not from Chennai. I would have obviously helped you out. If I can give you contacts for multiple gym vendors, I can as well do that. So I hope this answers the question.
We will take 2 more questions from the audience side. One question.
Hi, Dev. Firstly, big fan of your manifesto and feasibility report.
Just the question.
Any page I run by an AI detector shows that it is 100% ChatGPT. There are multiple duplicate pages. I guess you were just trying to make it seem more long, or actually Atman just told me that he wrote it. But anyways, to my question, which is about your music taste, why does every single page of your feasibility report link to the lyrics of the song Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar? Are you even taking this seriously?
Can you repeat the question? Just the question part. Ask him to repeat the question. Just the question. Just the question, repeat it.
I'm sorry, I forgot you don't know English. Why does every single page of your feasibility report, which is a professional document, link to the lyrics of the song Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar?
He chose not to answer. Last question from the audience side. Last question. Yeah.
He chose not to answer.
Pussy. Just the question.
So my question is for Dev Joshi. As part of the contingent for 3 years, I'm currently holding your Narmada manifesto. I can see you wear the tracksuit for 2023. I've been part of that inter-IT and I didn't see you in the team. So how did you exactly get that tracksuit? And is this the respect you'll be giving to the inter-IT contingent?
Wait. Yeah. Do you want to answer?
So basically with the manifesto photo which I had displayed in the previous semester, previous tenure, I have already cleared the feasibility with SEC, mailing them the actual reason behind using that particular tracksuit. I'm nowhere trying to mislead people or show to everyone that I was a part of that particular inter-ID sports meet. I've already cleared this particular point during last elections through SEC and clear this point.
Can you just get it off again? That what did you say in the mail? I don't remember. Okay, then leave it. After this, we'll move on. 5 minutes are there. We can move on to EC. 5 minutes. Maybe 2 questions. Just search SEC. Yeah, you can ask if Abiram is.
Then why don't you consider the fact of collaborating with those teams? Second question, and this is for Abiram. Abiram, you have mentioned about sports sector. Why do you feel this is different from the general lectures which are conducted by EML? And if it's different, please elaborate.
Could you repeat the first question, please?
Why do you feel that the other teams which are existing in the other sphere are not functioning? Because most of the initiatives are something which is a clash with the other teams' functions. And if you feel that, then why there is no part of collaboration in your manifesto? It's to both of them.
Okay. To answer this off, like I respect all the teams and I know everyone is functioning to their best. And where points come, it's not about clash, it's about collaborating with other spheres. This year we did collaborate with Sati for the immersion thing. We did collaborate with Mitra for the marathon. See, I mentioned about collaborations, let's say the cultural sphere thing, for inter-IT opening and closing ceremonies. It's clearly mentioned cultural synergy, and I've taken feasibility from the Cultural Affairs Secretary for the same. And as far as esports is concerned, I know Sangam has a esports club as well. And for the same, I wanted to collaborate with them, not to clash, and ensure both of us did it together and tapped into a much larger crowd. And for this point, I've taken feasibility from the Cultural Affairs Secretary. And when it comes to the point about lecture series, EML does bring in speakers, and they have a variety of speakers coming in for different topics. What I wanted to do personally was tailor it specific to the sports sphere, ensure that athletes who have achieved something, or sports physicians, or someone who's very well versed with the sports dietitian thing, something along those lines which tailors and caters very specifically to the sports sphere. See, already EML is conducting a lot of events, and I'm pretty sure they would help us out with that. Not that I didn't want to collaborate, we would want to look into the possibility of collaborating, but just because I didn't have enough time to talk to them in person and I just wanted to... No, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I just wanted to clarify one point. No, SOC also has a content team.
Okay. One last question we'll take from EC side and we'll...
Whatever collaboration points I've mentioned in my particular manifesto, I've collabed with the teams IR and SGS for a few of the initiatives where I thought that we are lacking a bit on the engagement side with the freshers. For example, Insta Kickoff, one of my initiative. based on my socket experience from this year, I thought that we could have worked and engaged really more. We could increase the diversity of the events we've conducted. We can give them a better exposure towards the intra-IT and the sports fest. So these kind of initiatives, I'm trying to solve these problems which I had to talk to the freshers, and I thought it's really feasible to add one or few events with it because it's all about booking a thing and making the interaction with the seniors and juniors.
Just a clarification from SEC side.
Yeah, so last year a mail was sent to Dev to these two other questions. Are you a part of any inter-IT contingent since you are wearing an inter-IT jersey? Kindly send the proof of the same. Kindly send us a proof that you were part of Team A Annual Sports IIT Madras, which won the bronze medal. These are the clarifications from Dev. I wasn't a part of the inter-IT contingent this year. The jersey which I'm wearing in the photos of my documents are borrowed from my teammates who were a part of the contingent for the sake of clicking a picture for the same. It was out of my knowledge and awareness that we as candidates couldn't do that. This year's annual sports fest at IIT Madras, I was a part of both the teams A and B, which was the decision of our respected coaches and captains. Feasibility for mentioning the same credentials before putting was taken by our cricket team's A captain, Rohan, and Aditya Vikram, and also from our cricket coach, who was part of the team making. Rohan Ramesh has also responded to this, saying that I had captained the IIT Madras cricket team. I can confirm that Dev Joshi, who was initially part of the IIT Madras B team, was moved to the A team during the tournament. I think that clears.
One last question from Executive Council side and we'll end the Soapbox. Maintain the decorum. Yeah.
Since you were part of SOC, in your manifesto you have added multiple initiatives that involves lot of events, right? You are doing some events with alumni coming and playing with students, and you are also doing a lot of women club events and other things. Given the bandwidth at which an ISS operates, and considering the circumstances that this year there is inter-IT, how do you plan to ensure, because you have not mentioned any timeline? And the same question is to Abhiram. What is the timeline, considering that you have brought up a lot of initiatives, but given that for the past multiple years, the SOC does not have the bandwidth to host all these initiatives that you have been doing?
Tell the timeline for the entire next year. What all events, at what time you are planning to organize the events? Include all the manifesto points.
So the main points which are requiring main points which are or we want to book the places, book the venues for that. As per my knowledge, is leisure weekends. I've already mentioned in the feasibility report that we will be conducting the leisure weekends bi-monthly. So it won't be that much, the frequency will be less. And as per my experience, if we really take coordinators and cores from diverse backgrounds and not only from intra-IT, we'll be able to execute these events better this year. And for the initiative women's clubs, what my idea is right now, we'll be doing 2 tournaments in the even semester and 1 for the odd semester, so that we have a right amount of time before the sports fest to execute this thing. And also this particular thing caters to the shorter end deans, the main motivation behind the point. So we'll be keeping equal gaps for these whatever events and whatever execution initiatives which I am trying to bring to the sphere.
Other academic commitments that students have along with the other spheres that conduct even all around. So, given the fact that TikTok and everything happens.
As per my experience from the current SOC tenure, like the way we were able to successfully handle interdepartmental league is a perfect example for this. So I think the time right after the quiz, right after the vacation will be the optimal times to conduct these events, whatever I am proposing from my side, what are the executionable events. And I think these particular initiatives are quite feasible to be conducted.
We have different spheres also. We have number of teams which are working. They also have events. We have to also consider what they are planning. And according to that, we have to devise a timeline. And this statement which you have just said, that that has no fact. We have to work on fact, right?
And given the fact that inter-IT is happening this year here, given the fact that inter-IT is happening this year, your role in the inter-IT and the contingent's role in the inter-IT organization will be much higher than and the SOC role in organizing will be much higher than the bandwidth that erstwhile exists. So given that you have not shared the timeline, it becomes quite impossible for all of us to believe that all that you are proposing is feasible.
Abiram must answer, then we'll end the soapbox.
Yeah, to answer that question about the NSO thing, it will go on as part of curriculum and it wouldn't hamper any of the other spheres events. About batch-wise specific selections, anyways, we do conduct probable selections every year. We just upgraded to making it to batch-wise specific selections this year onwards. So again, no clash with any other spheres events. Thirdly, sports weekender. We usually have sports fest, so I plan to time the sports weekender right as the opening ceremony for the sports fest thing or the closing ceremony of it. So we do get 2 days of time once again without just when the sports sphere has its events happening. No clash with other sphere once again. And finally, about the she-can thing where we have multiple football, cricket and hockey clubs coming up for women, run by women. Over there, obviously we'll be having training sessions and it is optional. It's not mandatory for anyone. We would be conducting the sessions and we would be organizing it 2 days per week in that fashion. So whoever is interested to join can join, and whoever isn't able to come for the sessions because they have other academic pursuits or any other POR related work, they can choose not to come for it.
Of course, no event that is happening in institute by any of us is compulsory for anybody to attend, right? The point is not that. The point is from the managerial point of view. ISS is a managerial position. How do you plan on ensuring that your bandwidth is equitably split between all your initiatives? That was the point.
No, that's a clarification. With this, we will end the soapbox for ISS, and I thank all the candidates for taking their sweet time and answering the question, and I wish best of luck for both of them. And I thank the audience for maintaining the decorum, and spirits, and all the EC members for your questions. And with this, we end the soapbox. Thank you.
Please. Both of you, please go through the hostel fee circular.
And both of you, please come for fun days from all of us.
Especially current ISS.